I'm going to quickly show you how to put your dragons into timeout so that you don't have to worry about them for a little while without having to tire them all out. Now, I have a lot of dragon power, as you can see, over 7 million. That means I've got a lot of dragons. A lot. All right, just a small sampling here, just to give you an idea of just how much of a cluster of mints, as it were. Just a few of these here. Now, you don't have to worry. You're not going to lose your dragons by doing this trick. They're just going to go into timeout, as I said. See, I've got a lot of them. That's enough showing ya. Alright, so I've got a big house, which has 16 of them sleeping, and the rest in there are all rested. And there's one sleeping in here. You can't pass 15 of them at most that can be out unless you've tapped on a home to get them out. I'm going to bubble the big one. Right? Everybody in that big house is now in timeout. Now I'm going to tire out the ones that are out by getting a build site. Since I bubbled all but that little tiny house, a build site is only going to cost me 7 bricks. Nice and inexpensive. Now I pop that down on the ground and just tap on it manically, interrupting them every time they start to initiate that, so it uses up their stamina as they tire out. Excuse me. Alright, so somebody waffled across there and almost made that happen to get a chance to build. But I got in there. If that happens, you delete one and you put a new one down. Oh, new items have arrived. I don't care about the boutique right now. Most of the time, generally, the boutique has stuff that's just going to try to take your gems, and it doesn't give you anything worth it. There's occasionally 1 or 2 items in that. That's a different story. Alright. So I'm getting everybody worn out. Just keep this up. No dragons available? Okay. Everybody has gone to sleep. I am going to get that beautiful all dragons asleep message. Right? I can get rid of my build site. Now, that big house that I have out, or I have that's in a bubble, I can bring that back out. Now, when I leave and come back in, all the dragons that were in here are going to be released. And they could go into that little house. Or, to make my life easier, I can bring that big one back out before I leave. Right? So they're still all in timeout. The ones that are asleep are in there. This one's out here. I can then bubble this one up if I wanted to. So that, you know, some of them would be, they'd all go in there. Which is probably, well, I can't really bubble it because I don't have any dragons holding anything. So I can't bubble it right now. But I can when I do other things. I'll go out to the world map and come back in. And you'll see all of my dragons, except for the 16 that are sleeping, will be returned. I'll have a number on both of those buildings that's more than 16. I'll be able to tap those and get dragons out. So let's head back in. There we go. Just going to take a moment to get in there because now it's got to process all those dragons and go, okay, who's sleeping, who's not, and divvy them out. It takes it a little while to load. That's the downside when you have a ton of dragons. Also, one of the things that can make your camp really slow to load is having unmerged dragons. Sometimes it's even worse, quite often, even worse than the amount of bubbles you might have. Alright, so there's 16 sleeping in there too. 16 sleeping in here, but it's popping all those dragons, 15 of them to work with, out of that home that's down there. The only ones in the little one are ones that are sleeping. Now, if I want to really display this, well, if I want to displace them again, I could, you know, bubble this and have them in there. But I can also tap on this and get some extras out. As you can see, I've got a lot of dragons. Look at them all. They're going back to sleep. They're going back to resting, but they'll be spread into that other house too, as I'm tapping on this. So you can see I have not lost any of my dragons by doing this. I just temporarily got them to not be able to come back out after I wore them all out. That can be very useful when you're trying to organize your camp and go through your bubbles and everything, because then you won't have to worry about them getting out and harvesting things unless they rest out of the little tiny home, which will give you the most time possible, and only rest one at a time in like 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes if you've got that tiny home. So it gives you some leeway. That's why you might want to use this trick. All right, I hope you find this useful. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the trick, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.